Can I talk to you for a minute? There's something on my mind that I want to say. Thanks for coming over. Because when you're strong enough to take the pain, inflicted again and again. What do they call me? My name is Strong. What's good, everybody? Everybody. I want to share with y'all a little video today. We all know about self-esteem and how it can shift due to situations and circumstances. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it works. It's good to get healthy criticism, if it's going to be for the betterment of, somebody. But when people just sit and bash and trash and try to do something for to gain popularity or anything that they're trying to gain by bringing you down, we can't let that get the power to do so. So like I said, we all know about self-esteem, and I want to show y'all this little 30-minute video that kind of describe the concept of self-esteem, what it is, where it come from, how to build it, maintain it, protect it. Talk about the power of positive thinking, the importance of a supportive home environment, and the harmful effects of advertising are considered, along with the negative impact of a poor attitude and destructive comments and unrealistic thoughts of one's own worth. So let's sit back. Oh my gosh. Relax. And I'm gonna share this video with y'all, yo. Self-esteem. Why you gonna do me like that, huh? Oh crap. It won't let me full screen it. There we go. Sheesh. Yeah.
It's not the same thing as self-confidence. It's not about being a perfectionist, the best or the worst at something, or about bragging. So what is self-esteem?
Self-esteem is always not giving up on yourself, always being cheerful. Because if you give up on yourself, you're not going to get anywhere.
Self-esteem is a matter of self, being confident in the fact that, God made you who you are. Take advantage of everything that happens to you in your life and use to build on that foundation. I mean, don't worry about the fact that the cool kids don't necessarily want to be with you, or I'm not worried that I'm a lowly hot dog man. I mean, I know how I do. I take care of my family, and I just treat people like I'd like to be treated.
The word self means the total, essential, and individual qualities that distinguish each of us from one another. Esteem is a judgment of worth, honor, or admiration. Together, self-esteem is your estimate of yourself.
I think you have to have a good feeling about who you are. I am a religious person, and so I trust in God, and I think that we can't get caught up in a lot of the superficial things that we see on the media, that we see and we read and we think that are things that make us who we are. We really, truly should look into ourselves and decide what things are important to us, what makes us who we are, and feeling good about ourselves.
Self-esteem is like a savings account. Okay, you either pay in or you pay out. Now, if you do stupid, illegal, risky, not together things, you're paying out a heck of a lot, because eventually people are going to think that you're a loser.
I think without self-esteem, you're just like in a river heading down to the waterfall. I mean, you're going over. Nobody will be able to save you.
Self-esteem is not what other people think or feel about you. It's what you think and feel about yourself.
Sometimes that you have people come in and they want to put you down because you are a server, and they think that you have lower morals or scruples or whatever you want to call it, but we don't. I know myself. I know what I feel, and I know how I live my life, and so it doesn't really bother me. Some people it does bother. Some of the servers get upset when they start putting them down and stuff like that, but it really doesn't bother me because I know the way I was raised. I know my values. I know what I expect out of life, and so it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't.
Well, usually with outside criticism, I take that pretty close to heart, and that can usually, oftentimes that will spark, me running into my room and turning on the music and actually sitting down and thinking about things, maybe blowing off homework, sit down and think, where did I go wrong? Because I guess I have this idea that I need to look, crystal clean and bright and shiny to everybody else. So, outside criticism is, I guess, it's pretty detrimental to my self-esteem system. So.
Yeah, but see, for me, it's more like I look at who's saying it first, and if that person isn't very credible, you can't really take everything into heart.
Right.
If he's written like infamous, reputable for causing fights in school, and he's saying like your shirt looks really bad, or like you have a huge flaw in your personality or something like that, I wouldn't really care for what he's saying. But if like my teacher came up to me and said like you have a bad attitude problem, I would take that personally, and I would try to see what's wrong with me.
I just tell myself that, there's going to be people like that, and I just have to let it go. And I just get on with my life, because that's one thing I can't let get down is what people say about me, because there's a lot of people that say things about me, but if I let it get me down every time, then I wouldn't be, where I am today.
Your self-esteem measures how you feel about yourself in different ways, physically and emotionally, intellectually and morally, even socially.
These ways that we measure ourselves are useful, but once again, I think they're negative usually, that we come up and we realize that, hey, I'm still not feeling fulfilled for this reason, this reason, this reason. So then it inspires us, it motivates us, it helps us to want to do other things.
Everyone has self-esteem, but not everyone's self-esteem is the same.
Okay, kids, I was a little disappointed in these history exams. Mr. Smith.
Thanks. Oh, man. I studied for 3 days. I must be some sort of moron. Well, I'm never going to pass now. Having low self-esteem, I think, can affect you physically as well as mentally. It also probably acts in ways to deny you opportunities, educational or anything else. Teacher asks a question, what if I'm wrong? There it is. It's right there written down. You did the cool thing like we all do. Original thought in grade school is copying. The most sincere form of praise is theft. You steal it from somebody else if you think it's good. But you look down, there's the words written out, and you still don't have enough esteem to hold your hand up and say the answer, or you don't think it's cool because, for some reason the model is not the know. Okay, so it affects you mentally and physically. So you start not doing it. The next thing you do is you start ending up toward the back of the room.
Miss Jones. First of all, this was the stupidest test, and I have the stupidest teacher. I don't need this. If you're way out there, you have too much self-esteem, you may not be willing to learn from others. You may not be open to different opinions, which again could affect the way you live your life. If your self-esteem is too low, you could be talked into things that aren't right, that affect you adversely or your family in a bad way. Mr. Mitchell.
I can do better than this. I just have to study harder next time. Next time I know I'll get an A.
I think I have healthy self-esteem, although I think most people go through all three at some point in their life. There are times, as the mother of teenagers, I see them not liking themselves very much, although I know they're wonderful people. And then they also go through that, I'm wonderful, better than everybody else. I think that's real common in teenage and early adult. And then they mellow out, and you realize you're not going to be all to everybody, that you can only be the best you can be and be happy with that.
Having a healthy self-esteem means accepting your individuality with all its strengths and weaknesses. What's your self-esteem like? Too low? Just right?
For a while, I was just like, for a good portion of life, I was just like, yeah, whatever, I didn't see myself as any, I was nobody, I mean, my parents love me, and they're really loving parents, and it wasn't their fault. It was just like, I don't know, me, I thought I was, typical teenage adolescent girl. I'm too fat, and blah, blah, blah. I was 5'5", 100 pounds, I was nowhere near fat, and oh, my nose is too big, I'm not wearing the right clothes and all that stuff, and everything was perfectly fine. And I know it sounds like, oh my gosh, that's so shallow, but really, you're a teenager, and no matter how shallow it sounds, for a while, those are the things that make up your life. And, I'm growing in my self-assurance and my self-esteem, and sometimes it's really hard because, for a while there, my friend was like, well, you're this and you're that, and so I was like, oh, okay, and you get really arrogant, and then somebody knocks you down, you're like, so it's like a growing process, it elevates. It depends on kind of what situation you're in also.
Does self-esteem come from inside a person or from outside? Most people would agree that it comes from both.
External factors are the people around you. Internal factors are how you feel about yourself. You might think, I don't look good right now because I have acne on my face, or I weigh more than I should, or I don't weigh enough, or my hair's not long enough. And you realize as you go through those turbulent teenage years that the external is not nearly as important as the internal.
Sometimes we base how we feel about ourselves by what we see around us. We use it to measure what we see in the mirror.
You look at models that are pencil thin. The bulk of the population is not, as much as some of us would like to be. It just doesn't happen that way. And so we tend to judge ourselves by the way the media says we should look versus how we are. And I think each of us have so much to offer. It's a shame that people feel negatively about themselves.
It doesn't matter how old you are. You're always going to be bombarded with this type of influences from everywhere, especially the media, TV, movies. The thing that I tell my children, because they will come home and they will say, I need this type of pair of shoes, I need this, I need that. But what I try to teach them is what you wear is not who you are.
Sometimes external forces boost our self-esteem. Sometimes they lower it.
It changes sometimes because due to outside influences, such as your friends, peer pressure for one, that would just like come in and either ruin it or raise it too high sometimes. And like, I guess the healthy level would be when you feel content about who you are and what you do, and no matter whatever people say, you're focused on whatever you want to do. And I consider myself relatively healthy, but then again, it can change as outside influences come into my life.
Whether they realize it or not, friends and family affect how we feel about ourselves every day.
They help me, my self-esteem. I mean, they always keep me up. They try to keep me going. Whenever I want to get down, they never let me get down on myself because they've always been there for me. And I think that's important, my self-esteem.
What parents express to their children contributes to what they become. And my own children, I try to let them know that I expect the best from them, to always put their best foot forward in whatever they do. Every paper you hand in, or they hand in, I tell them, make sure you're proud of it. Make sure that could be the principal, the paper that's put before the principal, and or whoever you think is important, and you would be proud that you did it. Everything deserves your best effort.
There's a correspondence between what others think you can do and what you actually believe that you can do yourself. Others, when you're young, others' perceptions of what your horizons are, what your limits are very strong, and we tend to adopt those. And what a person believes about himself is the greatest single factor in their success or failure. And what we believe about ourselves always comes initially from that home environment. The messages that we're told, and usually it can be physically damaging, can be verbally damaging, but it's also just sort of psychically damning sometimes to have parents who consider, oh, you'll never be more than this, you're not this. So those limits do define us.
Mom, the stew tastes great.
Meat's a little too dry.
I shouldn't be eating this. I've gained 5 pounds in the past 2 weeks.
Well, you wanted that membership at the gym so badly. Why don't you use it once in a while?
Hey, Dad, I made straight A's. I found out the report card's going to be coming in the mail in a couple of days.
Well, straight A's don't matter as much as they used to when I was your age.
Hey, Mom, I'm going to start jogging again. Do you want to run with me? I told you not to wear your hair down at the dinner table. I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I won first place in the science fair. Did you lay your clothes out for tomorrow? No, not yet. You need to do that.
How's your math grade doing?
Well, I got a 91 on my last exam.
Well, let's try for 100 next time.
Okay.
Don't forget you have to mow the lawn this weekend.
Yeah, I know. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Even if you come from a dysfunctional situation, maybe everything's not the way you want it to be, your parents don't talk nice to you, your brothers and sisters don't talk nice to you, it doesn't mean that you have to be the same way. You can say, hey, this doesn't make me feel right. I'm not going to use this in how I interact with people. I'm not going to treat people the same way.
We all know when there's too much criticism, but is there such a thing as too much praise? You bet.
Overpraise can lead to arrogance because you think so highly of yourself, but really you aren't, and that just will bring you down your own, your own fall from whatever mistake you had.
I'm not really hot on overpraise either. Some quote that I'm pulling from somewhere is we're closer to wisdom when we stoop than when we soar. And I think that, I mean, with too much praise, you get this feeling of, almighty Mr. Julius Caesar Colossus. I mean, it doesn't leave you room for improvement. I mean, it doesn't help your character at all. If you're on top, the only way to go is down.
Just like everyone has some measure of self-esteem, everyone has their own inner voice. Your inner voice can be positive or negative, or even both. It's the internal force that influences how you feel about yourself, by how it filters the messages and information you receive from the world around you.
Hey, you going to the game on Friday? Oh, well, yeah, I guess. After work, I guess. I'll have to leave a little early to be able to go. Hey. Okay, I'll see you later. Hey, I like your shoes. Oh, those are pretty cool. I haven't seen those before. Thanks. She doesn't really like my shoes. She's just saying that. Look at her shoes. They're so cool. She's got all the cool stuff. She's got style. I've seen her closet. She's got lots of really cool clothes and stuff. I mean, just look at her. I don't look like that. I don't think I'd even look cool if I wore that stuff. She doesn't mean it.
I have seen individuals who have low self-esteem, and you see how miserable they are and how unhappy they are. And so I think that anything we can do to prepare ourselves, give ourselves that confidence that helps to build that self-esteem, I think it's a good thing.
Hey, come on. I know you hear me. Come on, I only need one answer. Don't be such a baby. Shh. Stop what? Mind your own business.
Stop cheating.
Why? What are you going to do?
I'm going to tell the teacher if you don't stop.
Sometimes you have to do what's right, and I have the confidence to do that.
If you are a person who's not sure of yourself and sort of how you feel about things, then how you know how you feel about things is by bouncing ideas, bouncing behaviors, bouncing attitudes off other people. Therefore, they become your mirror. The other is the way that you interpret how you're going to navigate the waters of your life, so to speak. But if you figure out a system of thought, a way of acting, an attitude of sort of being that you're comfortable with and that seems to be successful, has had success for you in your life, then you don't need others as much to act as mirror, act as bouncer.
She's so lucky to be going out with me. The most popular guy in school. Captain of football, basketball, baseball. I can go out with any girl I want, and she's with me. God, it's great being the most popular guy in school.
I wish I didn't have to go out with him. I want to break up with him, but I can't. If I break up with him, then I'll be a nobody. I can't hang around with all the cool people anymore. They won't accept me. He treats me so bad. He makes me feel terrible about myself, like I'm really a nobody without him. I just don't know what to do.
Our self-esteem is built by what's on the inside and the outside. All of us face challenges every day that affect our self-esteem. It's how we process those influences that determine how healthy our self-esteem is.
We all are very, very concerned about the high rate of suicide amongst teenagers. The reason for this is because they have so little history that they don't know that when it hurts, that it's going to get better. And we who've been around for a while knows that when it goes down, it comes right back up, and it's going to go down again and up again. And when it feels good, we're going to get hurt, and that it's a process. It's up and downs, ins and outs. And when you only have 14 or 15 or 16 years of this, you don't have the historicity to know that emotional roller coaster is just going to go back up. And those of us who have the years of experience, the ups and downs, we know that there's going to be good times and bad times. And again, find an older, mature person who's been through it all, seen it all, and they just laugh off things that for us, particularly for a young person, would be devastating. So it takes time.
Though everybody has an effect on you, you can interpret that how you want. You know, you can see, I don't know, a few people doing drugs and you can think, oh, you know, they want me to do them or whatever. And then, you know, go join, I guess. Or you can say, well, gee, doesn't that look dumb? Or that's illegal and it's not good for you anyway, I don't get it. You know, so I think to a great extent you define yourself in terms of other people. But what that definition is that you come out with is your own.
Satisfaction with oneself. Well, that's how a dictionary might define self-esteem. But it doesn't just come, does it? How can you build, protect, and maintain it every day?
You know, the thing that I say, you know, too frequently to the students and to my own kids, and I'm thinking for myself, is just the fact, what is it that moves life forward? What makes life richer for us? To find those things that enriches your life and just move toward those things. Make gradual, slight attitude adjustments so that you can find out where richness is in your life and move in that direction.
I think first you have to like yourself as you are. And we're all unique and different creatures. And thank God we have such a broad variety of people in the world because we all have such gifts to offer. It just takes some of us longer to open those gifts than others.
In a perfect world, self-esteem would be easy to develop and even easier to maintain. But life is unpredictable. So every day we have to combat the forces that threaten our self-esteem and strengthen the forces that boost it. What's your advice for getting and keeping healthy self-esteem?
Being honest.
The best way to feel good about yourself is to know yourself inside and know that you're making good choices and having a positive influence on the people around you.
Surround yourself with that which brings you joy and contentment.
Experience life completely, including all the pain and all the joy and everything, and you'll have the most intense moments of happiness.
Know that somebody loves you because you love yourself.
One thing would be to think positively of yourself and to be an optimist, not a pessimist.
You should always be true to yourself.
Live your life in a life-affirming way.
Find what it is in life that makes you feel more whole, more complete, and move there.
Most of us have heard that you need to love yourself first before anyone else can, and we've probably found that it's true. A healthy self-esteem will make you feel good and look good. It helps you be your own person, celebrate your achievements and forgive your mistakes, meet challenges and cope with disappointment every day. As you grow and change, so will your self-esteem. But no matter how it evolves, your self-esteem is always the vision you have of yourself. And in the end, you're the only one who has the power over what that vision looks like.
So there you have it. This was awesome. So just remember, don't give anybody the power to, you know what I'm saying, determine how you look at yourself, especially when you know exactly who you are. So I want everybody to focus on their focus, encourage yourself as well as others, keep being great. Self-love is the best love. And on that note,